Need to invite President Trump to Moscow to be my guest. He has such an invitation. I've told him that, and I'm ready to go to Washington.
President Trump says he is, quote, open to accepting Vladimir Putin's invitation to meet in Moscow. This, as we learned this week, that Russian military intelligence unsuccessfully tried to hack into the computer systems of vulnerable Democratic Senator Grid. My panel is with me now. Congressman Swalwell, you sit on the House Intelligence Committee. What does it say to you that while Russia continues to attack the United States, whether Claire McCaskill or the U.S. grids, that President Trump is willing to have this meeting, whether it's Putin coming to the White House or him going to Moscow?
Sends a green light to the Russians. They believe that the president is more aligned with them than he is with us. And if they believe intelligence officials, they don't have directives from this president to stop the interference campaign. So it's really now on Congress. If the executive isn't going to defend the country, then our congressional leaders need to unite and say that these elections belong to us. We're going to do all we can to protect the ballot box.
Where are the Republicans on this?
Well, I think the one chance that they had to rebuke the president on something firm that came out was what we learned happened in Helsinki, when we learned that President Trump discussed the possibility of letting Americans be interrogated by Russian agents. Once we got word of that, the Senate has never moved so fast. They issued a resolution passed 98-0 to say, no, we're not going to do that. Part of the problem with this is that no one really knows what the president's agenda is when it comes to Russia. And so when there's nothing firm to grasp onto, there's nothing firm to reject.
Let me turn the subject on Russia, staying with Russia, but on the question about whether or not there was any help that the Russians offered that was actually accepted by the Trump campaign, which is a charge that the Trump campaign has always denied, and we haven't seen any evidence per se. But already we've started to see this week a change in the conversation where members of Congress and Trump-friendly pundits are starting to say, even if they did do this, so what? It's no big deal. Take a listen to California Republican Congressman Darrell Issa, who is retiring.
If he's proven to have not told the whole truth about the fact that campaigns look for dirt, and if someone offers it, you listen to them, nobody's going to be surprised. There are some things in politics that you just take for granted.
Wouldn't you be surprised?
Look, so let's put a pin in that and go back to a couple of things that the congressman said. This administration has been pushing back on and fighting against interference with the Russians interfering in our elections since the very get-go. Just because the president didn't stand up and announce it, look, the CIA, listen, the CIA, because they're going to continue to act. That's their job, right?
Well,
The bad guys are going to do bad things, right? And there are lots of bad people, and the good guys on our side are stopping them. The NSA, CIA, FBI,
and perhaps President Trump shouldn't be talking about doing a joint cybersecurity campaign with the Russians while they're hacking us. That's another bright line.
Amanda, why not? Why not try to stop them from the inside?
Well,
because they are inside, and we need to, because they. What evidence do you have that we should?
I don't know what information you guys have that I don't have, that tells you what the FBI counterintelligence folks are doing overseas, or what the CIA is doing, or what the NSA is doing. Yeah. But you guys must have a lot more intel than I do.
Nina, let me bring you in. I'd like to bring back to the topic about some Republican office holders and Trump-friendly pundits changing the level now, saying it's no big deal. So what? If the Russians did help the Trump campaign. What do you make of that?
It's definitely a big deal, and had it been President Obama, you know, they would be running around like their hair is on fire. It's a double standard. It's certainly a political double standard, and all elected officials should care whether or not a foreign force, especially the Russians, try to hack and continue to try to hack into our voter system. And not just what the Russians are doing, what signal does it give to any other foreign power that if the United States of America, and I agree with the congressman, that the Congress needs to step up and do something to protect the integrity of our elections, both on the foreign side, cyber warfare, and also on the domestic side. Because since the Help America Vote Act, we really have not made requisite investments into secure our system.
I agree. Listen, I agree. It is a big deal if they've done that. It is a big deal. And you know what? Let's see what the Mueller investigation proves.
If they offer information.
I think let's see what the Mueller. But you know what we do know about the Mueller investigation? The
Mueller guilty.
No, wait, hold on. Yeah, from folks nothing to do with collusion, nothing to do with the Russians.
They were lying about meetings with Russians.
No, hold on.
That's
Hold on for a second.
Guilty.
The Mueller investigation. The first person to go to trial, Paul Manafort. The Mueller team, the government has said no evidence of collusion or anything to do with the Russians
in that trial.
Plenty of evidence
in the trial. Okay, so that's the first part. That's the first part. So who's the centerpiece of this grand piece of espionage? Carter Page?
All right.
Papadopoulos? Who's the center?
Can we just boil this quick?
I am. That's what I'm trying to do.
It comes down to two questions. Did members of the Trump campaign knowingly solicit stolen information?
No.
Number one. And
No.
number two, was there any kind of an arrangement to accept election help in exchange for
Congressman,
sanctions
very
relief?
quickly, have you noticed your colleagues changing the bar now here in terms of saying, so what if there was help?
Yes, it's now, well, we always get dirt on our opponents. And again, we should never allow that to take place, because if a foreign adversary is offering you dirt, it's because they want something in return. And if you take it, you're compromised.
All right.
That hurts us.
Thanks, everyone. President Trump has now...